This system is a 2-speed system. When the carrier runs out, it actually will speed up in a real-world installation where it runs along the horizontal for a longer distance than that, just to reduce the run time or the wait time for the customer. Being a 2-speed system, there has to be a set point at which it kicks in from low speed into high speed. And to tell the control board where the carrier is at, there is an LED, it's marked as chain, which will, if you watch it, will flash as the carrier runs. And what that is, there is a sensor mounted on the motor housing that sends a signal back up to here every time the motor does half a turn, or the output shaft does a half turn. Then the board here then counts the flashes to know when it needs to kick into high speed and then when to kick back out of high speed. The adjustment for these shift points is done on this main board by this slot for how long it stays into high speed. This one here controls how long it stays in low speed coming up the customer tube. And turning it clockwise will make it wait longer to shift into high speed. Counterclockwise will make it go into high speed earlier. The send one controls how long it's in low speed coming up the building tube, so that it can go up the building tube, around the turn, and then out of the airlock before it kicks into the high speed mode. Then high speed you want to set so that it goes into high speed once it's out of the airlock up in the canopy and before it gets to the turn to come back down the customer end. The recall mode, you would set it so it goes up the tube at the customer end and around the turn, and as soon as it hits the horizontal you want it to kick into high speed, so it runs along the horizontal and high speed, and then the high speed setting will also control when it kicks back down into slow speed, which should be before it gets to the doors in the airlock up in the canopy. If these are out of adjustment, one condition would be if the high speed's too short or it never gets into high speed, it makes a longer delivery time between the building and the customer end and vice versa. If it's set to where it's running in high speed too long, it actually can come down either the customer tube or the teller tube too fast, and it could trip the stop switches, but it will coast a lot further and could possibly crash into either the motor end or, if it's going out, to the speaker plate at the bottom of the customer end. So those settings need to be adjusted. If you ever replace the control board, you can pretty much eyeball where the settings are on one board and set the other board to it, and that would get you a good starting position to adjust from.